Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more videos on lesson content.
Got no place to be, got no place to go. Come hang out with me on the Mr. Flanders Show.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Flanders here, and we are looking at our second to last reading lesson for the entire school year. Oh my goodness! Calm down, everybody. I know you're going to miss it. Before we can celebrate, though, we have to get through our work. And today we are looking at story 93, The Boss Gets Mad. Okay? If you remember, Sid is the individual we've been following in our last couple of stories, and Sid has a hard time reading. And when he's having a hard time reading, he's making mistakes. He thinks they're what he's supposed to do, and he thinks he's doing a good job, but they do prove to be mistakes. And in our last story, his boss found him and found what he was doing. But that's where the story ended. So now we are going to figure out what happens in this story. The boss gets mad. So without further ado, follow along as I read it out loud. Sid was sad, and the boss was mad. The boss yelled at Sid for planting seeds in the slop. When the boss was tired of yelling, she said, "Let's go to the shop and see how well you did the other things the notes told you to do." So Sid and the boss went to the shop. The boss dropped her cane into the can. She went to the table and picked up a note. Then she said, "Did you send out 10 pine trees?" Do you guys remember? Did he do that? "Pine trees?" Sid asked. "I sent out pin trees." See, he didn't do it. That made the boss mad. She walked around the room. Then she said, "I hope that you did a better job with the other notes." Oh, sorry, you guys can't see that. "I hope that you did a better job with the other notes." She picked up another note. Then she said, "Did you fix the window pane?" "Window pane?" Sid asked. "I made a window pan." The boss got her cane from the can. She walked around the room. She yelled and yelled. Then she said, "I hope you sent a cone to Sam's tree farm." "No," Sid said. "I sent a con from the jail." The boss sat down on the floor. "This is a fine mess," she said. And then she asked, "Did you tape the oak tree?" "No," Sid said. "I tapped the oak tree." Sid was very, very sad. He wanted to do a good job, but he didn't read what the notes said. More to come. This is why reading's important, guys. Otherwise, you could end up in a Sid's situation. Oh, look, there's the pan for the window pane. That boss looks angry. She looks angry. Craziness. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to our first worksheet. Okay. We are on worksheet 93, side 1. Let's go over our questions. Before we do, though, I do want to remind you the expectation is you are reading the stories after we are done with this work. Okay? Second grade is right around the corner. You want to make sure you are prepared and you are not in Sid's position. Okay. Here we go. Numero uno. Who dropped her cane into the can? Who dropped her cane into the can? Number 2. Did Sid plant seeds in the slop or on the slope? Did Sid plant seeds in the slop or on the slope? Number 3. Did he send out pin trees or pine trees? Blank trees. What kind of trees did he do? Then number 4. Did Sid make a pan or a pane for the window? Okay, make sure you're writing as much as you can. Some of these are okay with one words, but I would like to see some sentences if you can. Number 5. Did Sid send a cone to the farm or a con to the farm? Number 6. Did Sid tap the oak tree or tape that oak tree? Number 7. Who was very, very sad? Who was very, very sad? And here I want you to write, it's either the boss was sad or Sid was sad. Okay? Okay, let's move on to the second part of our worksheet. If you're doing this in Google Classroom, you'll see the parts off to the side here to complete the instructions. Otherwise, if you're doing this in your paper packet, you need to be doing this stuff on your own. For example, okay, the big boy felt sad. The big boy felt sad. So if you're doing this in your paper packet, direction number 1 says make a D over the word big. So if you're doing this at home, you're going to draw a D over the word big. Number 2, circle the words that tell who felt sad. Circle the words that tell who felt sad. Number 3, make a line under the word that tells how the big boy felt. Make a line under the word that tells how the big boy felt. So you're going to make a D over the word big. Circle the words that tell who felt sad. And then make a line under the word that tells how the big boy felt. And the sentence says, big boy felt sad. The big boy felt sad. And while you are finishing that up, I'm going to remind you there is no rush. Please pause the video if you need. I am flipping the page over. Okay. Remember, we have these paragraphs now, these little stories on the back of worksheet number 2 that I read in our videos. The expectation is you are also practicing reading them at home. Here we go. Jane liked to make big things. Once, she made a hat for her brother, Walter. That hat was so big that it fell over his ears. It fell over his nose. It came down to his feet. He said, "I will fix this hat." He cut 3 holes in it. 1 hole was for his head. 2 holes were for his arms. He said, "This hat is not a good hat, but it is a good coat." All right. Number 1. Who made the hat? Who made the hat? Was it Jane or was it Walter? Number 2. Who had the hat on? Who had the hat on? And number 3. Why didn't the hat sit on his head? Why didn't the hat sit on his head? Number 4. How many holes did he cut in the hat? How many holes did he cut in the hat? And then number 5. He said, "It is a good blank." He said, "It is a good blank." Alright, remember, you can rewind the video if you need to go back and hear any of the questions again, or if you need to hear the story. You can also pause the video if you need more time. I'm sure that you do. But we're going to go ahead and move on for now. So, as always, don't feel rushed. I've already said it once. There's no need to feel rushed. Pause the video if you need to. Okay? While you're finishing up, I'm going to go ahead and start on these 3 questions for our picture. Question number 1 for our picture. It goes right there. Does the boss look happy or mad? Does the boss look happy or mad? I'm going to tell you right now, she definitely looks something. Oof, I would not want to be Sid in this situation. Number 2. What is on the window? What is on the window? And then number 3. What is the boss holding? What is the boss holding? What is the boss holding? So does the boss look happy or mad? What is on the window? What is the boss holding? Look at my picture here. You can look at your picture in Google, in the Google Classroom or in your paper packet. But please answer those questions the best that you can. And for now, I'm going to get running and prep for our final lesson for the entire school year for reading. All right, it's going to be a doozy. See you guys there. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Flanders here, and we are meeting again for the last time for our final reading mastery lesson for the school year. Oh my goodness, guys, we made it. We are at the finish line. We are almost done. We just got to get through this, and then we are done with reading for the school year. Whoa. All right, well, I think we should just get right into it. Let's get this bad boy knocked out so we can go start jumping in some pools, playing in some sprinklers, eating some ice cream, whatever we're doing for summer. We're getting to it, so let's jump into it. Here we go. We are looking at Story 94. The Boss Teaches Sid to Read. Now, if you remember, in our last story, Sid was having in the last few stories, actually, Sid was having a really hard time with his reading skills. And in the last story, the boss showed up, and she kind of got mad at him because he didn't do what he was supposed to do with the notes. So, this is the conclusion of that story. This means the end of the story of Sid and his reading issues. So let's see what happens. The boss teaches Sid to read. Sid felt so sad that a tear ran down his cheek. The boss was so mad that she was sitting on the floor, tapping her cane and looking at Sid. The boss said, "You didn't plant seeds on the slope. You planted seeds in the slop." Yes, Sid said. I didn't mean to do a bad job, but I don't read very well. The boss said, well, I will teach you how to read. If you are going to help me in this shop, you must be good at reading. So the boss began to teach Sid how to read words like pain and road and tape and time. They're all words that end with E. Sid sat at the side of the boss, and the boss made notes for Sid to read. At first, Sid did not read the words like hope and rob. But every day, Sid would read a little better. And before a week went by, Sid could read the words very well. The boss made up some hard notes. One note said, hide a bit of cheese near the mop. Another note said, tape a cap to my cape. But the boss could not fool Sid. Now, when the boss leaves the shop, she says, Sid, read the notes on the table and do what the notes tell you to do. And that's what Sid does. If a note tells him to fix a window pane, he does it. If a note tells him to send a cone to a tree farm, he sends a cone, not a con. Sid is very happy, and so is the boss. The end. Oh, and here's the picture right here. Look at that, guys. Look at that. Sid is a happy camper. I like this. This is really good. Alright, well, let's go ahead and get this out of the way. And let's look at our worksheets. Okay? We're on worksheet 94. That goes with lesson 94. We're on side 1. I'm going to go through our first 7 questions that tie to the story. Please follow along as I read them out loud. Who said, I don't read very well? Was it the boss, or was it Sid? Number 2. Who said, I will teach you how to read? Who said, I will teach you how to read? Was it Sid or the boss? Number 3. Did Sid read well when a week went by? Did Sid read well when a week went by? Number 4. One note said, tape a cap to my blank. Tape a cap to my blank. Number 5. Did these notes fool Sid? Did these notes fool Sid? Number 6. Can Sid read the notes now? Can Sid read the notes now? And number 7. Does Sid feel happy or sad? Does Sid feel happy or sad? Those are some pretty good questions. You guys go ahead and take... Oh, excuse me, guys. Sorry, I'm stretching my neck and my arms are all stiff this morning. I apologize. So you guys go ahead and take the time that you need. And I am going to move our worksheet up. And we're going to look at the last sentence that we're going to have to follow the instructions for. And if you were doing this in Google Classroom, obviously you'll have the shapes or the lines or whatever you need off to the side right here. If you're doing this at home, you will have to make them yourself. So let's look at our sentence. That cow on the road ran fast. That cow on the road ran fast. Number 1. Make a box around the words that tell where the cow is. Make a box around the words that tell where the cow is. Number 2, make an E under the word that. Make an E under the word that. Number 3, make a line over the word that tells how the cow ran. Make a line over the word that tells how the cow ran. Alright guys, while you're finishing that up, I'm going to flip over to our side 2. Okay. This is side 2 right here. Now remember, the expectation is, well, first off, if you need to finish up on the other page, please feel free to pause the video. I don't want you guys to feel rushed. Take it at your own time. But the expectation for this side of the worksheet, for this paragraph here, this little story, is you are reading it after I'm reading it. You're practicing this at home. Okay? Let's go ahead and look at our little story, though. The boss had a cane can. One day, Sid took the cane can. When the boss came back to the shop, she was mad. I left the cane can here, she said, but now it is not here. Where is it? Sid said, I planted a tree in the cane can. Oh my goodness, Sid! So now the cane can is not a cane can. It is a tree pot. Sid, that crazy guy. Number 1. Who took the cane can? Who took the cane can? Number 2. Who got mad? Number 3. What did Sid plant in the cane can? And number 4. Now the cane can is a tree blank. What is that answer? Is it still cane can? Alright guys, while you're finishing that up, we're going to look at the last part of our worksheet. And I'm going to pop the picture right there. And we're going to look at, we only have 2 questions for this picture this time around. That's pretty cool. So we're going to look at this picture and let's see what number 1 says. Do you see a pan on the window? Do you see a pan on the window? And then number 2. Is Sid reading? Is Sid reading? So do you see a pan on the window? And is Sid reading? Alright, ladies and gents, well, that about wraps it up on my end. Reading Mastery is done for the school year. We are done for the school year. Unless you haven't done some of the other lessons, then you need to get those finished first. It's been a lot of fun, guys. The last couple months have been a little weird, but it's been really fun overall, just being your teacher and getting to know you and sharing this whole first grade experience with you guys. It has been crazy. It has been wild sometimes. But to see the way you guys have grown and the things that you've learned and the things that you've taught me even, I'm really happy for those moments, and I thank you guys for them a lot. But yeah, I'm going to get going before I start gushing, before I start crying, guys. Stay safe, take it easy. If you haven't finished the other lessons, make sure you go do that. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing all of you, at the start of the new school year. Take it easy.